a huge life transition. You've started your journey from Apple to Windows. I did a little video about the reasons why I've not gone with iMac. Another Apple computer. It's mainly to do with the fact that
spoilers.
It's mainly to do with the fact that I'm going to tell you right now.
Let's watch Roll VT. What does VT mean?
Videotape.
Is that all it means?
I think so.
Why not just say videotape? Roll videotape.
Roll VD. Testing, just like take 33. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about why I've gone from, or why I've chosen not to go with another iMac. I've grown to love Apple. I'm an Apple fanboy. I love that ecosystem, I love the whole thing, how it works, but with all that said and done, I'm moving to Windows. People choose Apple because it's easy to use, it's just ease of use, it accepts new devices, you know, there's no issues with drivers, you don't have to piss around for ages, trying to find relevant software to download to make something work, it just works, and that's brilliant. Like me, I have a lot of Apple products, iPhones, iPads, it all syncs up, you can send files back and forth without any kind of delay, it's just brilliant for that, you know what I mean? And it's still good, It can Photoshop, it can Lightroom, it can do Logic Studio, all those things which I still use the iMac for, it can still do, and it's, you know, and if it wasn't for editing 4K, that's my bugbear, it can handle 4K. You cannot upgrade the machine that I've got. It's a late 2012. It's a joke. You can upgrade the RAM, you can upgrade the hard drive, which helps, but you know, you need to get to that graphics card, you need to get to that processor. There's no way of doing it. There's no way of doing it whatsoever, and that's when Apple have got you by the short and curlies. Windows fans love it because they can get under the hood of a Windows computer. In other words, they can do more advanced things with them. I'm not a massive computer literate, you know, I don't know the ins and outs. I like ease. You know, when you've got a lot on your plate, a lot of editing to do, a lot of projects coming your way, you need to, for me personally, I like to know that I can get things done, and all I got to worry about is the content which I'm producing rather than why the my mouse doesn't work. The way I see it, if I go with Windows, I can get a good spec computer for, you know, half the price, and that's what I've done, is I've gone for it's a baseline, it's not the finished article yet, but the beauty of this Zoom Storm, it's got an SSD, very fast 128 hard drive in there for the OS, for Windows 10. It's also got a terabyte of separate hard drive space as well for storage. I've got loads of storage anyway, so that's not really an issue. The RAM I need to upgrade, the cooling system I'll probably have to upgrade. The graphics card is good, it's an NVIDIA 1060. Again, it's not the best, but it is good. It's good for 4K, and it'll do for now. And when I'm good and ready, I can upgrade, and I can keep upgrading until the cows come home. And that, for me, is the main reason why I've gone with a Windows computer. I'm gonna have to put up with the fact that it's not that easy to just plug things into this computer and get it to work off the bat. Some things will, you know, but some things won't as well. Show you the computer in its entirety, you know, the specs, more in-depth kind of stuff. Yeah, so got a shot of Apple, not entirely, I've still got a MacBook, old one mind. Still got a MacBook, still got an iPad Pro, still got the iPhone 6. If you disagree, agree. I don't care. Peace.
Okay, and now we all have VD. So that was Jim's video about why he's no longer suckling at the teat of Steve Jobs' ghost, and now he's taking 2 in the ear from Bill Gates.
Yeah, I love Bill. Love a bit of Bill. I probably will do a more in-depth video on how I'm getting on with the Windows computer. Obviously, you know, you're so used to that Apple ecosystem for so long, you get so immersed in it and used to the way it works and what have you. So to jump back now to Windows has been good.
One more time the feeling, Jim.
So far, so good.
2. I think we can do that better. Right, what we've been listening to? Question mark. Hashtag mad science films.
So I've been listening to, surprisingly, metal. This is Cannibal Corpse's latest album.
But don't get him wrong, he has got eclectic tastes.
Album Red Before Black, and it was released, I think, like a week ago. Don't know the exact date.
So it's the corpse of a cannibal. So it's a dead cannibal. Cannibal corpse.
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. Yeah.
How long have you been a fan of Cannibal Corpse?
I've been a big fan. 2011, I think, I started getting more into them.
Okay.
So a bit of a late bloomer, but if I'm, you know,
a late bloomer.
a late bloomer in the world of death.
I think that describes Jim perfectly.
It kind of started off as easygoing metal, so maybe a bit of old school hair metal, and then it kind of went heavier over the years. Like
As you got older, more bitter.
Early Fear Factory, you know, it seems like as I was getting older, with every grey hair, every joint pain, I started getting more aggressive.
From Britney to Christina, almost.
Yeah, well, not that far of a jump. Hey,
No.
hey. But yeah, a great album. Follows on from Skeletal Domain, which is a good album.
Sorry, what was the title?
Skeletal Domain.
Skeletal.
Domain.
Like a skeleton.
Yeah.
Skeletal?
They think they've gone for so long. I mean, you can only kind of
Have so many words.
Yeah, they're really trying their best. Like so. I mean, this is just called Red Before Black. I mean,
Red's the new black.
please don't be orange with the new black. Some cracking riffing in it. Steam train driving her home riffs. Very fast, very heavy. Some fantastic growling and some amazing washing machine style head spinning. Code of the Slashers, great track. That's out on YouTube.
As in slasher killers?
I'm assuming so, unless they're
So they
about
have a code.
urinating, but being
Or they
Cannibal
like
Corpse.
opening presents very messily.
The lead singer, I forgot his name.
Jeff, Steve, Tarquin, Montgomery, Cecil, Dave. I bet it's Tarquin. Leslie,
Rob.
That's slightly anticlimactic.
So check out Rob Barrett in. I mean,
Rob Barrett.
I
I think he's changed my windows.
Side
Double
company
glazing.
caller, yeah.
Rob Barrett's double glazing. What was your favourite Cannibal Corpse album?
Torture was a great album.
Is it a cover of the Jackson 5 song?
no.
Torture. Torture!
No.
Or
Torture.
Fool Them. I think the Jackson 5 one was about torture as well.
My dad was a bit of a twat.
Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson.
If you're still alive, Joe Jackson, please do not sue us.
Oh,
I'm still trying to dodge the Cardiff International Film Guys.
Hi, anyway, kind of international film guy.
Hi, Joe Jackson. So, what we've been reading this week, I've actually got it with me. I'm halfway through, so I haven't finished yet. Folk Horror by Adam Scovell. It's quite like an academic text, but still a lot of fun. It kind of tackles like the main 3 to start with. So, Wickman, Witchfinder General, and...
Which Wicker Man are we tackling? Nicolas Cage?
So far, just the original. They haven't really... I mean, like I said, I'm only partway through. I don't think there's a chapter on the remake yet.
Should be a section just on Nicolas Cage's terrible acting in that film.
You know what? I haven't
The
seen it.
Bees!
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Shit.
Oh, that's disappointing. The only other book I've read on folk horror is kind of more like an anthology from loads of different authors called Folk Horror Revival, which is like this phone book size thing, which is well worth a read. The really cool thing about Adam Scovell's book, though, is in the back there is a filmography. So there is is lots of awesome stuff that you can kind of track down if you want to educate yourself in the world of folk horror. Really well known films, but then they also talk a lot about like all the weird, obscure British TV stuff that was like they were making in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I mean, this is the thing, like ITV and BBC back then, they made like loads of these like anthology TV shows, Supernatural, Out of the Unknown, Fear of the Dark, Play for Today, but a lot of those were also horror or folk horror, which led me to track down The Nightmare Man, which is this BBC mini series they did late 70s, early 80s, which I don't want to go too much into spoilers even though it's 40 years old, but not a lot of people probably have seen it. No. It starts off murder mystery on this really remote Scottish isle, and then it goes into weird places, and the closest thing I'll get to a spoiler is the second episode is probably the closest the BBC in the 70s, 80s ever came to doing a slasher film. So
consider me so.
There you go.
Wouldn't it be great if they did start to do? I mean, I think the BBC and ITV could kind of produce something of that nature now. I think there's a market. I think horror line in TV now is
Strictly Come Dancing is pretty horrific.
Yeah, I mean, bring back Brucey.
Is he dead?
Yeah, exactly. There's the horror.
That would be quite upsetting, really.
Did you do well? How many episodes are there?
There was only 4, and they were pretty much like 30-minute episodes. So I watched it in one go, which basically meant it was like a 2-hour film, which just had a number of twists. It is very... Bits of it feel a bit like Doctor Who in terms of like they had massive ideas and not quite the budget to see all of it through. But then I think they were aware of that as well, so they did some quite clever things. But I would say by the 4th episode, the budget limitations were starting to show. So as long as you go in with an open mind, yeah, it's really interesting what they do with it and how they kind of reveal it. I'd say it's probably only tangentially folk horror. It starts in a folk horror place and then goes other places. But yeah, it was one of the ones which I'd never heard of until reading this book. Educating you.
That's why you see Amazon Music again. So people, this is Educating Jim. We're going to educate Jim on the topic of metal. Hair metal.
Hair metal. Now, hair metal, I reckon I might get along with. Is Bon Jovi hair metal? I do feel maybe you should have eased me in with some hair metal.
Yeah, no, I'm going to just totally flip it around for you. Now this track, Jim's going to, I think he's going to recognise this track. This is by Motley Crue.
I know I've heard of the, isn't it Motley Crue? Because they've got an
There's,
the umlaut makes it Motley Crue. Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. So this is a bit of hair metal for Jimbo.
Okay, so what was that?
One of the best 80s Italian gore horror films. Lamberto Bava.
Oh, is it Demons 1 or Demons 2?
Demons 1. Oh. Yeah, see?
Okay.
Well, there we go, a little fact for you. So that was
I do like the Motley Crue. So yeah, that was the end of episode 3. Mad Science Films 3D. We hope you enjoyed. Please do the follow, submit, and give us your firstborn, or what do they call it on YouTube?
Subscribe. Don't give us your kids.
Jim, you love kids.
I do, but I don't want to own any. Unless they can cook, or unless they can cook, clean.
It's probably best to stop there, because we could go into a weird place.
Cook, clean, rent.
So if you could subscribe, like and comment. We've had some likes and comments, and thank you so much for the likes and the comments.
Yeah, your support is massive.
To be honest, it's not. I couldn't give it.
Not bothered.
You watch it, and if you like it, that's cool. If you don't like it, you do something, and then we'll just sit there and go, I don't like it. Looking for something very good. Oh, the sound quality was
We are going to upgrade on the sound quality, actually.
I don't give a shit. read through the
What do you reckon?
All right.